Hey, happy spring, everyone. April showers and all that. And happy Easter to everyone who celebrates. I'm just going to bother you for a little bit. I know you want to get back to your ham. But on the old ecclesiastical calendar, it is the Feast of the Resurrection. So I thought this a splendid time to fill your basket with a little Easter treat. So much better than those disappointing hollow chocolate bunnies. Talk about empty calories. And Peeps? Sorry, man. Never got the attraction, like biting into a gritty sponge. It really is better to feed your head with some literary confection. And what could be sweeter than a look at some of the lyrics from the Easter hymns of Isaac Watts? Who? Isaac Watts, the prolific hymnist, theologian, and logician who rejoices in the sobriquet Father of English Hymnody. Old Isaac ponied up about 700 hymns, including such smash hits as Joy to the World and When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. Now, he's a nonconformist minister, so he fundamentally altered the landscape of worship music, and he composed hymns that conveyed personal devotion and emotion, which was quite a departure from the strictly metrical psalms that were previously favored. Now, Isaac Watts was born in Southampton to a Puritan family in 1674, and very early on he exhibited exceptional intellect. He mastered Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and French. He turned down the opportunity for an Oxbridge education in favor of a dissenting academy in London. Afterwards, he served as the pastor of the Mark Lane Independent Chapel in London. However, poor Isaac was not a healthy boy, and chronic severe health challenges frequently precluded him from preaching. He spent many years residing with the Hartop and Abney families, and he dedicated a lot of that time to writing. So beyond his hymns, remember, over 700, he wrote influential scholarly textbooks on logic, geography, and astronomy, and some of those were adopted by colleges like Harvard and Yale. So that's pretty good. See, Watts thought that the quality of contemporary church music was rather poor, so he published Hymns and Spiritual Songs in 1707, and this introduced his new style of hymnody into congregational practice. He deployed a variety of metrical patterns and Christianized the Hebrew Psalms by rendering them in a style that was kind of reminiscent of the New Testament's language. And musically, he wanted melodic tunes, easy to sing, which, over against the plodding kind of death march rhythm of traditional hymnody. And, being a wise fella, he didn't forget the little uns. He published a volume called Divine Songs Attempted in Easy Language for the Use of Children. And I'm sure they were most grateful.
Why, thank you.
Let's take a quick peek at what is probably his most enduring and important hymn for Eastertide, 1707's When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my richest gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. Forbid it, Lord, that I should boast, save in the death of Christ my God. All the vain things that charm me most, I sacrifice them to his blood. See from his head, his hands, his feet, sorrow and love flow mingled down. Did e'er such love and sorrow meet, or thorns compose so rich a crown? His dying crimson, like a robe, spreads o'er his body on the tree. Then I am dead to all the globe, and all the globe is dead to me. Were the whole realm of nature mine, that were a present far too small. Love so amazing, so divine, demands my soul, my life, my all. So we've seen this structure before, yeah? Got octosyllabic quatrains, A-B rhymes, bog standard lyric structure. Give you a challenge. Flick on your radio right now. Whatever song's playing is probably built like this. Because it works. It's a popular structure because the populace can access it. And that's what hymns and pop songs have in common. They're for communal singing, for bringing folks together. And the subject matter here is also pretty predictable, right? A believer considers the crucifixion and, overwhelmed by the compassion of such a sacrifice, renounces the temptations of the world for the love of Christ. But don't let that seeming simplicity fool you, because that hides some pretty sophisticated language tricks. So here's something kind of cool. Anadiplosis. Yeah, that's a good word, huh? Anadiplosis. It just means linking verses. The stanzas are linked together with related words into like a single chain of thought. So stanza 1 ends with the word pride, and stanza 2 kicks off with the word boast. So think of the link there, right? The emotion is followed by an action. You feel pride, and so you boast. And so that links those stanzas together. Now, stanza 2 ends with the word blood, and in the next line, we see that blood on the head, hands, and feet of Jesus of Nazareth. By the way, since we're being all sexy with the literary terms, this is called hypotyposis, which is a pompous way of saying vivid imagery. Hypotyposis. The third and fourth stanzas use hypotyposis to paint a graphic, word picture of the crucifixion, describing the blood flowing from the head, hands, and feet. And the rest of such links are crown and robe, stanzas 3 and 4, me to mine in stanzas 4 to 5, and then finally stanza 5 ends with the word all, which is the contrasting link to the word mine. So that's pretty cool, right? It all kind of links up as you go along. Now, furthermore, the hymn uses contradictions to highlight theological mysteries. So, for instance, the title, Wondrous Cross, when you think about it, it's a weird thing to say. I remember years and years ago, I was a practicing Catholic at the time, and a friend asked me why I wore a crucifix around my neck. And I don't recall exactly what I said, but it was probably something pretty automatic from the catechism. And she said, "But it's horrible. It's a torture instrument." And you know what? It had never really occurred to me, how the crucifix might look to someone outside their tradition. Growing up Catholic, you saw them all over the place. It seemed normal to me. And yet somebody from outside looked at that and kind of said what it was, right? It's right there. The cross is a tool for torture, fear, and oppression. So calling it wondrous is immediately paradoxical. Now, the lyric's third line, which is, "Richest gain I count but loss," that paraphrases a line from St. Paul's letter to the Philippians, and it contrasts material wealth with spiritual value, right? That's an old one. We hear that all the time. But the last line of stanza 3 also gives us a seeming contradiction. The thorns compose so rich a crown. There's that idea of wealth and pain and all kinds of stuff mixed up. Some might call it an oxymoron, contrasting the pain of the thorns with the richness of Christ's royalty. But I don't know. Christ is the only one feeling the thorns here, right? Whereas the richness indicated in the line is for all people who believe in him, right? So I'm not sure oxymoron works there, but whatever. And here's one of the coolest ones. I like this one because it's like a secret code kind of thing. The third stanza. Now, this is a 5-stanza poem, 5-stanza hymn. The third stanza, which is the fulcrum, it's the middle point, the crossroads, the turning point of the lyric, right? it features what's called a chiasmus. And a chiasmus is it's a rhetorical figure, a literary device, which is a reversal of grammatical structures or ideas. Let's see. Well, you might know Newt Rockney, right? He says, when the going gets tough, the tough get going, right? So you got going and tough, and then tough and going. So you flip those two grammatical structures around, and you get like a mirror image. Lil Wayne, right? I got my mind on my money and my money on my mind. So see how the words flip into that mirror image thing, right? Stanza 3, anyway, in this does that. Right? It's got that flippy chiasmus thing. Sorrow and love flow mingled down, did ere such love and sorrow meet. So, okay, that's elegant. I like that. We could see Christ's suffering and love as a mirror to our own. Nice. But check this out. I like this. The Greek letter for chiasmus is chi, which is also the first letter of Christ. And the chi rho is a traditional symbol for the cross. So by placing this device, check it out, placing this device in the exact center of the hymn, Watts kind of visually and structurally anchors the poem in the cross itself. Boom. As I indicated earlier, the whole use of first-person perspective was a bit innovative in the early 18th century. Right? Hymns were typically corporate paraphrases of the Psalms, and Watts shifted the focus to the individual's emotional and internal response to the divine, which is very nonconformist, very dissenting, very Protestant-y, puritanical. It's the personal relationship. It's one of those cases in which the highly specific can appeal to the general. Like, the more personal the lyric gets, the more relatable it gets. What else could we talk about? Oh, there's a nice pun in stanza 4. I guess folks don't often sing this stanza, I've heard. Like, it's not commonly used in worship services, but they should, because there's some good wordplay in stanza 4. There's the play on dying. And so you get dying both as ceasing to live, ceasing to metabolize, and dying as in coloring fabric. You know, so Christ's blood is described as a crimson robe that spreads over his body. And so the dying pun, it transforms an image of death into one of royal investiture. Yeah, let's say that. The hymn reaches its peak with a powerful set, I like this, of escalating terms. That last line, it says, demands my soul, my life, my all. So you get this intense progression that moves sequentially from the innermost spirit, you know, my soul, to physical being, my life, and ultimately encompassing the totality of human experience and community, my all, you know. So there you go, litterbugs. A little Easter egg on a writer, Isaac Watt, who had a pretty profound effect on English lyricism and literature, but he's often overlooked. We don't hear much about him in literature anthologies or courses or discussions, really. So I thought, shine a little light on him today. So thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day. If you'd care to support the show in any way, morally or financially, please do check the show notes down below there for some various options. Thank you very, very much, and I will talk to you soon.